Coming up next on Sidewalks Entertainment, we have writer-producer Trey Haley, president of Destined Studios, and New York Times bestseller Carl Weber, author and publisher.
Thanks, Toni Fox. These two creative individuals are working together on the very successful BET Plus projects, The Family Business, and the miniseries, The Black Hamptons. Don't change the channel as Sidewalks Entertainment begins right now.
Joining us today, we have two exceptionally talented individuals, New York Times best-selling author Carl Weber and producer-director Trey Haley, president of Destined Studios, here to talk with us today about the two shows, The Black Hamptons and Family Business, based on Carl Weber's best-selling novels and airing on BET Plus. Thank you for joining us today, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Wonderful. Starting with you, Carl, how exactly did you get started in the business? How did you launch into becoming an author? I mean, what did it for you?
Well, I guess I've been in the book business for 30 years. I was the owner of a large chain of African-American bookstores during the 90s. And I guess it all kind of started when Elin Harris, I don't know if anybody remembers Elin Harris, came by my store and he did a book signing, and I said, "Hey, I got a good idea for a book." He goes, "Maybe you should write it."
Nice.
So there's a little more pieces to that, but being a bookstore owner, I had the advantage of knowing what my customers wanted. And,
Okay.
I've always been what I consider a great guy. So, I came up with a formula to write my first book, and kind of been looking forward ever since.
Awesome. So that's interesting. You were a bookstore owner first, and then started writing the books.
Bookstore owner. Then I became an author, and now I'm the publisher of Urban Books, which is the largest African-American owned publishing company, novel company of novels in the country right now. So.
Wow, that is amazing. That's kind of like the whole pay it forward, where you're giving others the opportunity to step into those shoes as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we've published over 5,000 books, and it's a family business. It's a family business, and my daughter is now one of the executives of the company, and she kind of runs the East Coast aspect while I'm out in California dealing with film and TV.
I can't even imagine what must go into getting 5,000 books out. I mean, you must have an amazing team.
We do. It's a family-run business, and we've been doing it for 20 years, and we average about 8 novels published a month, so we do pretty well.
I love to hear that. I mean, with those numbers, it sounds like you're helping a lot of authors make their mark. So that is awesome. And Trey, how did you end up in this industry? What kind of set you off on your journey?
Yeah, guy from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, just had a dream. Was in college and was working at a cable company, but while I was in school, but I really realized there editing, just kind of getting a chance to really see the real process of how things go, really inspired me to come out here and go after, directing, being part of this creative world that I'm in now. And, moved out here not knowing a single person, and eventually met my business partner, Indy Brown, who is, CEO of our company, and she's the business mind, I'm the creative mind. And, over time, we just, started small, small steps led to one thing after another, shoot really small films, some short films, and, just built some consistency with that. And over time, it just kind of, I will say it worked out, got a chance to turn behind Revelations Entertainment, which is Morgan Freeman's company, and got a chance to see how a production company works, like from the, as they say, from the Rudy to the Tootie, you know what I'm saying? Like from pre-production to post-production. And they really gave a great internship program to show you the process and really got you involved in what they were doing. All the while we're shooting, filming, networking, just doing this thing. And, you meet great people along the way. I guess you do good work, build a good reputation, and then you end up meeting people like Carl Weber along the way,
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got something I want to do, so yeah.
Perfect.
We've been doing it for the last 10 years, so it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. So next, I would ask you guys, what is a standout project for you, or a project that's close to the heart? Now, obviously, we know Black Hamptons and Family Business are phenomenal shows, so you can't pick either of those. But outside of that, what would you say is, again, a product that's a standout to you, or something kind of close to the heart? Let's start with you, Carl Weber.
I mean, there's some projects I want to work with Trey and Dee on in the future, but the project that we worked on, other than our 2 TV shows, is our first project we really did, Man in 3B.
I saw that.
It made us. It kind of bonded us together. We all saw that we could do some things together. Trey and India had been working with each other. I was new to the business. They honestly taught me how to do this. I consider myself a quick study, and, but, they taught me and made me understand different aspects of the business that I never thought about. And I came in in our partnership, I guess, as the writer, and kind of, my company financed our first project. But as we went on, we started to learn each other. And, when I'm writing something now, I think about Trey. How is he going to want to shoot this? And where can we, what locations can we use? So we've really become like this close-knit family type of group.
Okay.
Over, a 10-year period. And, now it's really funny. For the most part, the left hand knows what the right hand's doing, and at all times. It's a fun process. Now, I mean, there are times when, you get tired and it's late at night, and you say to yourself, geez, I just wish I could just go home and fall in the bed. But,
Right.
at this point, I'll be honest with you. I've never been so satisfied in having something to do and enjoying going to work.
Wow.
And that's a really, really important thing. The old saying about, if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day.
Yep.
It really comes down to that a lot of times for me. So I'm excited about getting up in the morning.
That's great. And honestly, it really speaks to the synergy that you have with the people you're working with, and the relationship that you guys have built, the way that you're really experiencing this positive work environment, and looking forward to it every day, like you said. And for anyone who has not seen the Man in 3B, I saw it and it was so good. I grew up where my mom loved watching classic films, and we watched a lot of the Alfred Hitchcock that had, a twist at the end. So I won't ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but I will say it was great writing, and I love a good twist in a movie. So now on to you, Trey. What would you say is a standout for you, or a project that was close to the heart? Tell us a little bit about that.
It's funny. I will have to lean to the Man in 3B. Was definitely a game changer in a lot of ways. Just, everything from shooting on the New York lot in LA, so to say, that was great. Just, that was one of our first features. It was a theatrical release as well. So that really was a game changer in a lot of ways for that. And taking a book going from a book to a movie, you know, and to be in a movie theater, you know, and as a kid, being able to watch movies and you see people talking back to the screen. And I remember, I think that was, we were doing, when we had the theatrical release, we were in different cities promoting it with different actors and different things like that. And I was in Atlanta, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember there was like a moment there when I was in a room and that ending, and to see the reaction
Yes.
of how everybody moved, I was like, man.
Yep.
It's something, right?
It was a moment,
You did
man.
something.
It was a moment.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you both decided to speak on that because, again, that was a great film. So anyone who hasn't seen The Man in 3B, you need to see it. So moving along to companies. You both have your own company. And I'd love to hear what was the thought process behind that, or how it's been on the entrepreneur side of things. Obviously, Carl, like you said, you guys have done over 5,000 books. We know Destined Studios has a number of remarkable projects that you've been a part of and created. So I just wanted to hear, you know, I know some people start these businesses because they want new opportunities or they want to bring new opportunities to others. And everyone loves the creative side, but there's the business side, the money side. So tell us a little bit about that, starting with Carl.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is, like I told you, these guys kind of taught me the film business. I understood how to write, but they taught me the film business. So the first thing is, from my perspective, is trust. You know, because, you know, they handle different aspects of things, or, you know, and we finally started to mesh things together a little bit more. But yeah, you have to have trust in the other party in order to do business with them when you're dealing with these type of things. So that was the first thing for me, was definitely it was trust, and having our own company and them having their own company. We're both as individuals.
Okay.
Urban Books and Destined bring a lot to the table in different ways.
Okay.
So, I mean, and again, it comes back, like I said, it comes down to trust, because once you start to merge those things together, you know, we didn't want to get away from our identity. They didn't want to get away from their identity. And, you know, as time has gone on, it's become one identity. If that makes any sense. But
yes, absolutely. That makes sense. Definitely. And you, Trey, tell us a little bit about Destined Studios. Maybe what was the mission in launching, or what have you experienced on the business side of things?
Yeah, I mean, it goes to a lot of, you know, like you said, in the end of the day, filmmakers, whoever, we're entrepreneurs out here. You know, we have our own independent film company. Destined Studios, our goal was always, you know, one of our mottos was destined to change the perception of the world. But part of that was behind the scenes and in front of the scene. You know, obviously giving our audiences different perspectives of, you know, storylines that you don't often see, giving actors opportunities they don't often get a chance to play, but also empowering people behind the scenes in positions that you don't often see. You know, one of the things ND is very passionate about too, along with me, you know, it's a very diverse crew. You know, there's a lot of females in empowered positions that are not common in our industry. The crew is a very diverse crew. I mean, like I said, we've had people come on and they're like, this is different. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And refreshing.
Yes.
In a refreshing way.
Love it.
Also, you know, we were also big on collaboration. One of the things, like I said, one of the things we always felt is working together with other people and helping other people to do our best, you know, that we can do to help empower other people to see their visions come alive as well. And taking the ego out of it and allowing people to bring in their vision and team up with people and say, look, two companies like us, we can work together and build together. You know, that is a very, very important part of our vision for our company. So we work with a lot of people. We work with a lot of people and help bring a lot of storylines together with people who could have gone anywhere. They could have Carl could have gone to any network, to get this. But I think Carl felt we would protect him, and make sure that when we're walking into the room, trust and making sure, it's like, you can go get, and I think that's what's important in general. It's not so much, it's like you can have 3 offers, but which one is going to empower you the most?
Absolutely.
Sometimes this piece over here may give you all of this dough. You may have no power in it. You may have no say so. You may not have the chance to cast it the way you want it or be involved in those conversations. And then maybe 2 years, 3 years later, your show is not, or your movie, nothing, it didn't materialize as big as you thought it would. BET, for instance, was very, as we lead into this thing with family business, they were very open to us keeping the vision of that story the way we initially created it. So that is but going back to that question, that is kind of part of what makes Destined move and what makes us excited about working every day and all the new opportunities that come with that. And I tell filmmakers all the time, or it's on the business side, it is definitely a creative side to this, but the business, if you have to be able to, I always say, don't look at what other people are getting. Look at what are you trying to get out of it? And how can you add to that person's vision, and 2 people can win together, make it a win-win. And if that's the case, that's the key. Is it a win-win? Not about just you, but about the other person, so that you can make a good deal for each other. And you got to know where you are, where you're building. I always say, there's people who come into the NBA, amazing basketball, top of the line basketball players, rookie, but you're not gonna get LeBron James money coming in. So, but you need to know your LeBron, you need to know your Kobe, you need to know the vision. But don't come in asking for LeBron James money. You got to work your steps, and everybody has their own path. But you got to take your steps and know where you are.
That is knowledge right there. Seriously, right? Know your value and the talent that you have, but also know the pay that you're going to get in the moment as you're on your journey and kind of continuing that journey, right?
It's a journey, but people want to jump into this and I'm getting under. Well, first of all, you just started. You're a rookie, and then. But guess what? There's people that play in sports 4, 5, 6 years from now. They get paid a different rate because of their experiences and understanding and the team that you're building. There's so much more to this, the deliveries and the expectations that people have. There's other people's jobs on the line with this stuff. So it's not just you. So people are banking on you, but they got to know that that you're going to come through in the end.
You said it very clearly. Next 5, 10 years, what do you see? What are you looking forward to? What's kind of the plan? What do you envision? We'll start with Carl. Any books in the works? Any thoughts that are you're putting down on paper? What are you looking at, or what do you envision in kind of that next 5 to 10 year mark for yourself?
Well, right now, the thought process is married men and big girls.
Okay. And I know your fans are very familiar with this. So are we telling them we're looking at a series, we're looking at a movie? Which would you say?
Well, I think both of them would probably be a series. I mean, if I was going to talk a movie, I've got a project I'm working on. It's a really, really big project, actually, called The Rent Man.
Okay. And this is based on a book that you've already written?
It's based on a book that I'm writing as we speak.
Okay. So we're getting some insight here. Okay. So that would be the next project for you. Exciting. And Trey, what about you?
We have a lot of different ones in different phases, but the biggest thing right now has been to do get Black Hamptons, the Black Hampton family business, like keeping that moving. I had the chance to do a movie that I just directed called Rolling into Christmas. It'll air this Christmas.
Oh, awesome.
So that's going to be great. Kind of a skating movie, roller skating movie, but, set in Atlanta, but the backdrop is, the holiday season. So it's a fun, good time movie. And then, but we have some some surprises coming.
Ah, okay.
Maybe calling us again and saying I need to do this other thing. We got some surprises.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not going to get all the insight yet, but it sounds like we'll probably be calling you down the line for another interview coming up. All right, great. Well, now, guys, we're going to get into the shows, okay? Family Business, 4th season. The response from this has just been amazing. So I would say this, and I'm going to go to you, Carl. If there is someone who has not tuned into this show yet, and they're hopping in season 4, what is it that you would tell them about the show so that they get it, they understand kind of what they're getting into? What would you say to them?
Well, it's a story. It's that wholesome family story that you want and people like to watch, with an underworld element to it. It's money, it's power, it's respect. The truth of the matter is, family business is actually pretty darn addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4th season, clearly.
Yeah, it's definitely binge watchable. I mean, I keep hearing people say, "Oh my goodness, I haven't got any sleep in 4 days." Oh, why? Because I'm watching your silly show. And they don't. When they say silly, they don't mean silly, but it's just like they're silly because they've been, it's one more episode. And when you get into 4 seasons, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I think this is probably our best season yet.
Absolutely. And I can speak to that too, because as I was watching, I was like, the writing is just so good. Every time you're watching a show, you want to go to the next one. You don't want to just leave it there. You're like, okay, what happens here? And the family, man, the way they move, they are, first of all, loyal, right? And then they are willing to do what it takes when it comes to family. So it kind of keeps you on the edge where you're just like, okay, what are they going to do here, right? Like, how are they going to handle this scenario? What's this going to look like? Which makes the writing so good. And again, such a fun watch. I mean, very, very exciting. And so to you, Trey, I would say, what has this been like bringing this book to life? Right? Because obviously Carl has fans that have envisioned these characters, that have already fallen in love with certain characters or hate certain characters. And now you're bringing it to the screen, and there are those expectations kind of already in place, with the fans. So what has that been like for you, just bringing it to life?
Yeah. Well, I kind of lean back to this whole collaboration thing. I think it's, when you're in the television world, working as a director, it's, TV is a writer's medium. So, you lean to the creator vision as far as how, it was written. On top of that it is a book, and then you have to be sensitive to things, the director can kind of get, what there's on the page, and it's like, oh, and then, but, you realize it's in the details when it comes to books. See, obviously everybody knows you can't tell every story, but people are attached to the characters.
Yes.
The character wears a certain chain or drives a certain car, or those are the little things when they start to see and they say that was just like in the book, or a certain scenario when they see the scenario happening, that it ties similar to the book. And that's the biggest key, is making sure that actors understand, because sometimes even actors will say, oh, I think I want to do it this way, I want to dress this way or wear this, but it's like, that's not, now, even though, I get where you want to go with this, but this is what one of these things is going to make the book readers know this is just like the book. And, that's it, that it's always great to read something when someone says, man, that was exactly the way when I saw it in my head. Because, when you're reading something,
yes,
you have your own perspective of something. When you see it, we're showing it to you now. So to tie those two together can be it's a fine line right there of how someone saw it versus way they in their mind versus when they see it, presented to you in a medium where you don't have to think about it, Yes. So I think that's the biggest key. But also trying to give them a little bit of, as Carl will tell you, some surprises, some things that they not expect as well. And I think that's the fine line between a book and making it come alive on film or television, is giving them the unexpected and the expected. So those who have never read it, you get a chance to go read it. Those who have read it, now they get a newer experience, a different experience, so to say, in the journey.
Definitely. And let's talk about that. The amazing cast here. You guys really did a great job casting. And Ernie Hudson, we actually interviewed him on Sidewalks about Ghostbusters. So tell us, what has it been like working with this cast? Either of you that want to kind of touch on that for me.
Well, Carl, I think Carl could get how Ernie came.
I mean, you know, I love Ernie Hudson kind of like a second father.
Oh, wow.
He's just been, he, even before I met Trey, he was attached to the project.
Oh,
And,
wow.
he just believed in it. And you know, you have to kind of tip your hat to people like that.
Yeah.
I think as far as Ernie's concerned, and I'm not trying to speak for him, but you know, he's had some great roles, but he's never been the guy.
Yeah.
And he is the guy in our show.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I mean, wait until you see this season.
Yeah, he owns that character all the way. All the way.
He is. I mean, he told me one time that nobody else will ever be Elsie Duncan.
Wow.
And that was one of the most flattering things I've ever heard.
I just love seeing the opportunity. I mean, it's exactly what you said. He's worked so much on so many different projects, but never like this. We're seeing a whole different range, and we're seeing him kind of in a whole new light, right? So it's just awesome that this project was able to give him that opportunity when he has worked on so many things previously.
Yes. And he's a great guy to work with. I mean, he's easy to work with. He comes in, he's professional, he's on time. It's not like he, you know, you realize working with him why he's been in this game so long, you know.
Got it.
It's a, I think he's great also for other people, you know, whether on our set or whatever, they could see and learn. You know, you have legacy here. You have a legend on the set.
Absolutely.
Talk to you, educate you about the business, and you know, sometimes, but watching, you can learn a lot more just by watching him too. Just watching him and how he handles himself professionally is impeccable. So it's been an honor to work with him, and you know, this guy's in super shape. I mean, it's just I mean, people are like, what are you doing, man?
Setting that bar high.
Like, he's great, man. He's great. So yeah, it's been an honor to work with him, and I think the success of the show, people knowing that he's a part of it, makes everybody else want to, you know, jump in on that as well. So these are parts of things that elevate things and help things move. Yeah.
Absolutely. Back to this amazing cast. Was there anyone who did such a amazing job with their role where you actually saw the character that you wrote in maybe a new light or perceived them differently because of how the actor, you know, did their part?
I guess when it really comes down to it, I have to look at the way Valerie Pettiford plays Chippy.
Okay.
You know, between her and Tammy Roman playing London, but Valerie has truly owned it. I don't think when I originally wrote it, I saw, you know, I knew she's a great actress. There was no question about her playing it. But she's taken the character on as her own. And I guess she kind of proved it when she put a Chippy tattoo on her body. So that's kind of sad.
Right.
But yeah, Valerie Pettiford, those two, the older two, because the kids, they've made, you know, Rio's made it the character, Paris has made the character,
right?
But I didn't expect the parents to be so, you know, especially with the fans,
yeah,
people being like, can't wait to see that mama. I can't wait to see that mama do her thing. That's you know, that's I never expected it to be like that. Because originally in the book, you know, Chippy was feisty, but Valerie's just owned the character. It's incredible.
And she's such a great actress. So hope she watches this and hears that, because I'm sure she'd love to hear that. All right. So we are on to the Black Hamptons. Now, I'm just going to say, watching this trailer, I was like, I want this life. I mean, the way you guys set it up, the spots where you're at, how it looks, I was like, this is, yeah, I'd love this life. Without the drama, though, without any of the drama that I saw just in the trailer alone. So starting with you, Carl, I just like to hear, where did this idea come from? Like, how did this come about?
Well, I am sitting in the Hamptons right now.
Wait, are you really? Do you live in the Hamptons? Hold on. Was this filmed at your house?
So there really is an African American conclave of neighborhoods
Okay.
in the Hamptons. And I've, been privy or lucky enough to be in those in the neighborhood, since I was little, so 4 or 5, I'm in my 50s now. So so it's loosely based on the African American community in Sag Harbor, where African Americans own the beach.
Nice.
Which is almost unheard of. I mean, there are places like Martha's Vineyards, the Bluffs and stuff, but those are public beaches. In Sag Harbor, they own the beach.
Wow. I never heard of that. It's like, I was completely unaware. That's amazing.
So like I said, it's loosely based on the neighborhood. I've taken my share of liberties, don't get me wrong, but this is a real community. And my neighbor across the street is Black. My neighbor to my left and right are Black. We get together, we have an HOA situation, people spend time on the beach and beach circles, and there are plenty of yachts in the water. I can guarantee you that.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a real thing that we're trying to make people see that is here. I may get in trouble later on with my neighbors, but
well, the secret is out. And I love that this project is bringing that to light, because I have never heard about that. I've never seen anything about that. I literally did not even know that existed. So that is so cool. And then Trey, right? This is another book, bringing it to screen. Again, a beautiful project to shoot. What has that been like for you? Tell us again, kind of the challenges, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, no, was always really, this is a project I was always looking forward to, shooting. We have been talking about this for several years.
Wow. Okay.
And then, with a lot of shows have been coming out talking about, Black excellence and things like that. And we knew that this was, hey, we're right in the target with this. So when this came out, 2 families, one, a family of prestige, politics, they own a bank, they run the bank, the Britons, and then you have the Johnsons' New Money. And, it's a family that has come in with this whole, techie world, a tech family. And, they see life a little different than the Britons do, which is going to be a little bit of the clash. But really, the fact that, you just seeing these 2 worlds come together, seeing the fish out of water, coming into the situation from all of these type of situations, I think it's going to be relatable to a lot of people. And we get a chance to, like you said, for people to get a peek into what they hear about the Hamptons. You talk about it, people talk about it, but a lot of people just don't know what this looks like. And, one of the things we wanted visually, to make with this is to look, if you push pause, the colors, the water, the beach, just the boats, we do this same stuff as well, and it's just good for people to see something and that whether or not you have it or you want to attain it, you can see it and believe it and have a vision for something for more than what you have right now. So that was excited about it. And, Indy Brown, Nakaya Brown-Jones, who's also the co-showrunner with Carl, she was very passionate about the look of it with the ladies and the clothes. And I mean, we would have to stop at times somebody's hair popped out just a tap. We wanted everything to be, just pristine as much as possible. We can control it.
Yeah.
So the locations are amazing. I think people are going to really feel something special and unique with this project.
Yeah, and I got that literally just from the trailer. And what you're saying is so important, right? Because you can have these dreams and visions, but maybe a lot of times when you've seen that image, they don't look like you, right? Or it's like not our people. So I love that this show is really creating those images and that visual picture, right? Where you can go back and say, hey, that's what we look like in the Hamptons, and doing a beautiful job of that. So really, really awesome to see that side of this project. And then the cast, again, you guys keep hitting the jackpot here with the cast. I mean, Vanessa Bell Calloway, I will not lie, I did recently binge Saints and Sinners, and she did an amazing job. So, I mean, she's just a phenomenal actress, right?
She comes with it. She is not a game. And on this show, y'all are going to see a Vanessa Bell in a way. There was some times I was like, yo, we need to cut and get all of us off the set right now before we do not want Vanessa Bray. I mean, this character, her character, she is not a game on this. And she is nothing to play with. And she is, and you get a chance to see the perspective of each family and how they live and why they believe in the way they think. And, and for her, it's about the community. So everything she does is about saving, what Carl was saying, the land, saving the way this has been built. And she's not going to let anyone, Black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, green, yellow, whatever, come in and change this.
Right.
So you get the chance to see two worlds. A person who just is like, money is money, what's the big deal? And another person says, oh, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And your money is not going to come in here and take over something, that we have been building for years and years and years.
Right.
Which is a little bit some things that kind of go on in the Hamptons as it is now, just kids.
Dynasty meets the beach.
There you go. Dynasty meets the beach.
There you go. Well, last question about cast, since again, we've talked about the awesome cast that you guys have had with both projects. What has that been like, Carl, seeing different actors bring your characters to life? I mean, are you involved in that process? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, we have, like I said, Destined and Urban Books have such a special relationship. We kind of work on everything from the ground up.
Okay.
And that includes scripts, and so from scripts to who's going to be in the cast, and being a co-showrunner, I get to deal with the crew all the time. So now I understand that aspect of the business and everything. Like I said, these guys have given me a true first-class education over the last 10 years. So if I make any blunders, it's his fault.
Okay, you heard it here on camera. So tell us with Black Hamptons, what are we expecting? I know family business, we're in 4 seasons. What are we looking at? What are we expecting here with the Black Hamptons?
It's a 4-part miniseries. Okay. Cross our fingers that everybody goes and watches it.
Yes.
We hope they take it to series.
Awesome.
But we want people to come and see this.
Yes.
See this, because we're thankful to BET Plus, the Viacom family and everything that believing in this. Larissa Bates, Maureen Guthman, they all are very instrumental in believing and pushing this project. Scott Mills was loving it. He's like the Hamptons. Let's do something.
Yes.
So it seems like everybody's really excited about where it's going, and the reception has been great. So we think that this, we may have something here that you may see more episodes to come.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the scenery alone is just amazing. And then with all the, attention to details that it sounds like you guys are doing, it's just going to be beautiful to even watch. So that being said, we're going to kind of wrap it up with just a few questions, maybe for fans that might be interested in some different things. So over to you, Carl. What would you say you like to do in your free time? Probably don't have a lot with all the busy projects that you have, but maybe what's a pastime or a guilty pleasure for you?
I'm a comic book collector.
What? You got a Comic Con and all that?
Yeah, I'm probably one of the foremost collectors of comics, African American collectors of comics in the country.
Wow. Well, how big is your collection? I mean, give us an idea of what we're talking about here.
I've got a Action #1 in my collection.
Action #1. Okay.
First appearance of Superman.
Oh, wow. First appearance of Superman. All right. Well, that's definitely going to set you apart right there when it comes to collectors. Like that. All right. You just put the bar right there. Awesome. Okay. I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, no, the comics have been in my life since I was 5.
So I have to ask then, with the comics, has that influenced your writing? Thought.
Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at the way I write novels, I write them with the thought process of continually, every chapter is a new episode.
Yes.
So that you just keep on reading and reading and reading. And I guess the same thing goes for the movie and television aspect of it. But that is a comic book way of writing.
Oh, so that's how you have us binging your episodes. I see. That's the secret sauce right there.
Yeah, well, it's partially a secret sauce, but definitely think of it like, and I don't know if you've ever read comic books, but they always leave you at the end, so you need to get the next episode.
Yes, absolutely.
You want the next issue, and that's kind of where that formula came from.
Well, that definitely gives us some insight to your writing. I'm glad I asked that. I would have never thought. Okay, and Trey, what about you? Guilty pleasure, pastime, what do you like to do?
A pastime. You know what? I will tell you this. There's something that I have been getting involved with, and to be honest with you, I know this sounds strange. I'm really getting into gardening.
It is. That is true.
Like it's a peaceful thing,
It is. You know what? Going out there every morning, watering your garden. There's something about life.
Yes.
Touching nature and tuning in. It kind of gives you it centers you a little bit. So that has been my guilty pleasure recently, outside of working our butts off trying to get these shows done. I find that's my
dog
thing.
and his dog.
Oh, my dog
He
too.
is a proud papa of a dog.
Oh, what type of dog? We have to know now.
I mean, he's here if you want to see him. I'm telling you.
Yeah, let's do it. Hello, spotlight.
Uh-oh. Max.
Carl, it's called you out.
We'll see. We'll see if he comes around. But yes, I have a new dog, and he's been amazing too. These little. He's been showing me some things about myself. So.
All right. But, well, we'll see if he comes on camera here.
A nice little Frenchy bulldog. He's cool.
Oh, I feel like on these types of interviews, the way it's gone, I see so many people whose pets like to take the spotlight. So feel free at any time to bring him into the spotlight, Trey. Okay, and so last question here. Obviously, with the accolades between both of you and the amazing careers that both of you have, what would you say would be some advice, starting with you, Carl, that you'd give for someone who's an upcoming writer or someone who wants to become an author?
If you want to be a novelist, the hardest thing to do is to complete the book.
Okay.
I know so many people that have started and haven't completed their book. Everyone talks about, I've been writing this book it's just tough.
Yeah.
Once you learn how to end a book, then you can keep moving on.
Okay. So the key is the end, having the end of the book.
Yeah. I mean, because, everybody knows what they want the story to be about, but finding that place and how to end it is really tough.
So I heard a piece of advice, and I'm curious what you think of this, where because I enjoy writing as well, and they said, don't worry about getting it right, just right. So what do you think of that?
I mean, there's definitely some sense to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a second piece of advice. Your high school teacher or your friend that reads a lot of books is not a good editor.
Okay, got it.
Everybody thinks that's the toughest part, because a real editor is not going to be a yes woman or man,
Mhm.
and everybody, well, my sister loves it. No, it doesn't matter if your sister loves it.
Right.
Goes, give it to a professional editor and let them help you. The
Okay.
problem is most people that write a book have such huge egos that they are afraid to deal with constructive criticism.
Wow.
And if you are really going to be a novelist or even someone that writes, nonfiction, you have to put your ego aside, because it's really not about you. It's about the print.
Okay. Got it. You said it right there.
And there's Max.
Yeah, I see. Max. Oh, look how adorable. Got your little baby right there.
Yep.
Smile for the camera. Okay, so Trey, advice for those who want to get into the movie business, producing, directing, what would you have to say?
Yeah. The number one thing is, I say, build a great team.
Okay.
Find people that do things that you don't do. It's not your passion, that's their passion, So building, just a great producing team, from sound to your DPs, just knowing that you have the ability to get something done, and everybody's on the same page.
Right.
The one that I think a lot of people miss out on that part, everybody's like solo-ish, kind of figuring it all out. But the team will help you get through it faster. Number two, just do it, man. There's so many people get caught into, like you just said, a little bit of, oh, it's got to be this way, it's got to be this way, it's got to be, and they're still talking about how it's got to be while somebody is doing it. And then, unfortunately, then people say, well, how did that person do it? I could have did. The difference was one person stopped talking about it while the other person kept talking about it, and those are the people who just end up as in life, if you have an idea, it's 100,000 ideas, it's a billion ideas out there. The ones that we're seeing, the only difference is they just decided to put some effort behind it, the talking, and make it happen, and take away the excuses, because I can give 100 stories about somebody who had it worse than what you have it, or somebody else has it. We've seen stories where people, there's so many stories of some of the most successful filmmakers in the world, but if you watch their beginning, you'll realize the only difference between you and them was they stepped out, put the team together, and made it happen, and I know it sounds so like simple, but it's just that easy. It's just, you want a podcast, go get the dang audio thing, work on, there's a way. We spend money on a lot of things that don't mean anything. You save up that money and give it to do it. There's something that means something, that has some value to it. So it's just the doing. Yeah.
You got the Nike advice, just do it. Absolutely. Well, last question coming up for Trey. I saw something on your website that looked like some writing in the future for you, motivational book.
I've been working on this book. This book has been working on me, though. It is something.
Hardest thing to do is finish it.
There you go. See,
what he just said.
See, I'm learning my thing, But it's a book that I have a book in me. It's I do like some motivational speaking and all that kind of stuff. But I really want a book about how we are all, this whole unique element, and nobody is you, and so kind of playing on those themes. But so that's what it's about. Yeah. And
would you like to set a deadline for when?
Yeah, I need to set a deadline. I got people on me right now that say, Trey, now you tell everybody else. I say, well, you see, I'm making all these movies, and they're saying, well, I'm watching other people make movies, speak, do concerts and writing books. I'm like, okay, you know.
I'm going to multitask. We're in that world right now. Well, again, thank you, gentlemen, both for being on the show. Such a pleasure speaking with both of you. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Okay, bye.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit us at sidewalkstv.com, our YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow us on social media.